ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. In this video, let us examine what is the relevance or importance of asking the questions to a master or enlightened being. See, Ananda, a close disciple of Buddha, has observed that one day Buddha has given answers to 3 persons who have raised the questions, and the answers are found to be contradictory. The questions are about the existence of God or otherwise by the devotees. Though the question is the same by all the 3 who have put the same question to Buddha, Buddha has answered each in a different way, and Ananda was puzzled how the answers could be contradictory when the question is the same. And he asked Buddha about the different answers given to different devotees. Then Buddha told Ananda, "Why did you listen to all the answers? Because those answers are not meant for you. When the answers are not meant for you, first of all, why did you listen at all?" So, the above conversation between Buddha and his disciple Ananda has to be understood in detail. See, when you are in the presence of a master in a satsang, some devotees may raise some questions, and the masters may answer the questions raised by the devotees, keeping in view the particular devotee who raised the question. Here, all the other devotees who are there sitting in the presence of the master, they hear, they listen to whatever the questions raised and the answers given by the master. Here, the basic thing to be understood is, whatever the questions raised by any human being, that question is related to all the human beings, because the question raised by him may be significant to him in that particular context of his life and in that particular time. It may not be such question you feel that it is not yours, but certainly you may not have that question for the present because that context has not arisen so far in your life. So you feel that whatever the answer given by the master is relevant to that particular devotee who raised the question. Here the point to be understood is all the devotees who were sitting in the presence of the master may not be having the same question, but some of the devotees definitely will be having the same question lingering in their minds, and they are not courageous to ask the questions to the master. But when they hear the answers from the master, they feel satisfied and they are elated, in fact, about the answers they have heard directly from the master, though they have not raised that question, but still it is lingering in their minds. So some people are courageous to raise and ask the questions, maybe on behalf of all the others who are similarly placed in that situation. So the questions raised in a satsang to the master and the answers heard or listened by the other devotees has got some significance, definitely, as they will be able to utilize that listening when the opportunity or when a particular context, a similar context arises in their life. So the questions are related to all human beings. So in this regard, Gautama Buddha, when he was born to the king, the king was his father. The king was told by the astrologers that the boy born just now to you will be either an emperor or he can be a renunciant, and he may leave everything. I mean, he renounces everything and lead a holy life. The king was perturbed at the possible stage of renunciation of the boy just born to him. So he made all arrangements that the boy should be brought up only in the palace, and he should not see any kind of misery or suffering in his life till he becomes a king. So He made arrangements similarly and to safeguard the boy from that possible prediction coming true. So the boy, he grew up to a certain stage, and by the time he was already married and also having a son. So one day Buddha was asked to preside over a youth festival. So he has to inaugurate that function, and he was going in a chariot. So the life's basic and fundamental questions have not arisen in him, I mean Buddha, till the age of 29. So at that time, when he was going in a chariot to inaugurate a youth festival, he has happened to see an old man bent, his back bent backwards. So curious about the condition of that man, that old man, he asked the charioteer, what is he, what happened to him, how he is, why he is looking like that. You see, here we have to understand one thing. The masters, the dead masters, were watching the growth of a master, a great master in Buddha. So they want to wake him up to his mission in this world. So, having taken all the precautions and having received all the instructions from the king to safeguard the boy from the misery and suffering and all that, why did that day he was able to come across that kind of situation in his life? It is the drama enacted by the dead masters to awaken Buddha. So, in fact, even the dead masters entered the charioteer at that time. So the charioteer replied to Buddha that everybody becomes old. So when one becomes old, he will be like that only. Then Buddha asked, does it happen to me also? Then charioteer, the master of the charioteer, replied, yes, it happens to you also, because it is the dharma of the body. Then again another scene they have seen, Buddha has seen. A dead body was being carried away. Then Buddha asked, what is this? Who is this man? Why he is like that, lifeless? Then the master and the charioteer replied, after the old age, which you have seen earlier. This is the last stage. The body dies. Then the Buddha again asked, does it happen to me? Yes, it happens to you also. Then the third scene, Buddha has seen one man in orange robes, a sannyasi, a renunciant, was walking on the road. Then Buddha asked, who was this man? His face was so radiant and all that. Then the master in the charioteer replied, he was the man who found the deathless, the immortal state. He has realized his immortal state before the old age itself. So he was not affected by that old age at all, because he realized his immortality. And that man, Buddha, has seen so many beautiful women and all that. But the beauty which he has seen in that sannyasin, in that renunciant, was so radiant. He was surrounded by, full of light, rays of light, like sun rays, were spreading from him. He was so beautiful, so peaceful, so quiet, and bliss was dancing on his face. So Buddha at that time asked the charioteer to stop and said, I am not going to inaugurate that youth festival, as I am no longer a youth. Please turn the chariot to the palace. And that night itself, he left the palace in search of that truth and immortality. So Buddha spent 6 years living with the different teachers and gathering knowledge about the truth. Though he spent 6 years and gathered all knowledge, he was not satisfied, because whatever the knowledge he has acquired from the teachers was only a borrowed knowledge by them. No teacher has given him the experience of that state, or no teacher could give his teaching from that state of realization. So finally Buddha craved and cried for that experience of truth. So after 6 years, he finally understood that it cannot be given by any teacher, and whatever the knowledge he could gather is of no avail and futile. So he dropped all the knowledge, and then he realized that only by undertaking an inward journey only he could realize that truth. So the first renunciation was the kingdom, family, and all that. But the second renunciation was very important in the spiritual path. He dropped all the knowledge and then he went. He undertook an inward journey within himself. And then he got realized one day the first words which he has spoken or which he uttered after his blissful and graceful enlightenment was Appa Deepo Bhava. Be light unto yourself. So, have an inward journey. Dive into yourself and realize that truth. Experience that immortality. Realize the existence of all pervading universal consciousness, and you are one in that universal consciousness, being a child